on.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Give us a second here. Gotta pull up something for my my co-host here, so that she can.
What does PER behind my name stand for?
PR.
PER.
PER. What are you talking about?
On the where you got my name logged in your phone. You got a new phone?
Oh. Personal. That's your personal number, right?
Oh, personal.
Mm-hmm. Child, you know what? Come on now. I know I had it in here. All right.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Hi, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pussy Power Hour, where we bring you vaginal victories through information and education about your yum Yoni, pun intended. My name is Kai Harurama, DHS, and I am the founder of the Holistic Health Awareness Team, which is a group of naturopathic doctors and holistic physicians and therapists who specialize in a variety of holistic services, products, and modalities, most of which are energy therapies. My area of focus and concentration is in something called meridian therapy tapology, which can best be described as acupuncture without the needles. And to my right, my lovely co-host will tell you who she is and what she does.
My name is Teray May, and I am the owner and sole proprietor of Yoni Steam and Wellness. I am your local vaginal practitioner, pussy practitioner, whichever makes you more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I am also a holistic healthcare provider. I provide a number of different services such as vaginal steaming. I also do non-invasive vaginal tightening. This is a service that's used to support the vagina canal, whether you're experiencing incontinence or
just have a loose vagina.
Yeah. Yes. And that. We also do wax services, full body wax services, Brazilian wax services, and things of that nature.
All right. And before we get too far, we definitely want to let everybody know that we're going to be at the Varina Library on July 25th. That's Saturday, July 25th.
It's going to be a free informational session, okay? It's going to be at the Varina Library. There's going to be my co-host here. We'll have Dr. Finney there as well. She's an amazing person herself, as well as myself. I'll be there, and we'll be giving you tons and tons and tons of health and information.
Yeah, you're going to be talking about all the things that you offer with the Yoni Wellness and Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Finney is going to be talking about, of course, she has a brand of organic feminine products that she uses, and she's going to do some demonstrations there. And knowing her, she's probably going to have some samples to give out.
And that's going to be important too, because a lot of my clients do come to me in reference to good Yoni products, because I don't advocate for tampons. So a lot of my clients who are, transitioning out of tampons, and they're looking for good vaginal care. So she'll be there, and as my co-host said, she'll have free samples with her. So you'll be able to, try as well. So we'll have it's going to be dope. It's definitely going to be
And then I'm going to
really
also
nice.
offer the science that I provide. I know I don't bring it up too much on the podcast, but you'll be able to sample it live and in living color and find out things like what neuromuscular biofeedback is, how the organs have a bearing on your health, and all of that. So we're going to have a great time. It's going to be free. It's going to be free. So because of that, come, and don't come alone. Bring somebody with you, because normally this kind of information does not go out to the general public. So we look to see you there at Varina Library, July 25th on Saturday. Very good. Now, let's talk about a few things here.
Yeah.
The first thing we're going to talk about, if we have time, we'll get into the other couple of subject matter, but we'd like to talk today about proper vaginal hygiene.
Oh yeah.
And I know that's kind of relative to your scope of knowledge. I know back in the day, grandma told mama how to take care of her vagina, and then mama passed it down to her daughter or daughters, and so forth and so on. But however, it appears that in recent generation, there's been a disconnect between either granny and mama or granny and granddaughter, so that now information on how to properly take care of the vagina is being lost. Is being lost because a little girl can only do what she learned from her mom, so forth and so on, unless she gets it from another source. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and we're going to come from two different perspectives, of course, because no, I don't have a vagina, but I've dealt with many, and because of that, I have some points that I want to bring up. What would you put me on the spot like that? There's absolutely no way of knowing, but I'm saying we're going to have two different perspectives. You probably will have a more relative perspective for
very detailed. I will tell you that much. Very, very detailed.
So let's get started.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll let you start off.
First and foremost, when it comes to vaginal hygiene, you must be using the right products. That's first and foremost. That's just like if someone is building a home. If you have cheap products, most likely, your home is not going to, your foundation is not going to be too sturdy. So when you're talking about good vaginal hygiene, that means you must have good vaginal products. I'm not talking about Bath and Body Works, ladies.
Okay.
Okay.
How about Victoria's Secret?
No, I'm not talking about any of that stuff, because that when you bathe, with these products, they have a lot of things that are harmful for your vagina hygiene.
Parabens. They're called parabens.
Yeah. And so, that's first and foremost. You want to make sure that for good vagina hygiene, that your product is organic. Organic. If not organic, you can read the products. You can read everything on there. So, typically, I will recommend some of the products that I use to my clients. One product that I do recommend for good vaginal hygiene would be, and it's a product that many of us are familiar with, is Dr. Bronner's.
Okay.
Dr. Bronner's is a very...
Cast out soap.
Yes.
I use that myself.
Exactly. That is a very good product for good vaginal care. I use it sometimes. I do use it sometimes. I use another product called National Heritage brand.
Okay.
They're also really good. They have a variety of different organic scents, so I like them. They have stuff like mango butter, black shea butter, black soap,
and if I can
butter.
interject right there, and when we talk about organic, keep in mind this term organic has really been downgraded in the last 10, 15 years. So organic really means every item, every ingredient is organic. So you can't have one organic thing and it's 7 or 8 ingredients after that and it's organic. Every ingredient has to be organic. And I've been using Dr. Bronner's for about 20 years.
Yeah, Dr. Bronner's is amazing. They do have a variety of other scents as well, but you can read everything on the bottle. It tells you, it say coconut oil, jojoba oil, hemp oil. So Dr. Bronner's is a really good brand to at least start your hygiene care with.
And as a rule of thumb, anything that you can't pronounce, you shouldn't put it in.
And I've had a lot of clients who may be a little bit prone to yeast or bacteria than they'd like to be. And I'd ask, like, well, what kind of products are you using? What kind of body wash are you using? And the first and the most common thing that my clients tell me is Dove soap. Dove, I use Dove. And they happy to throw the word sensitive in there. I use Dove sensitive.
That's crazy because if you go on Google, that's what they suggest.
And these products, like, they have, like Dove has tallow in it, which is the fat of the cattle or the beef. So, and then Olay has pork in it. So you just really want to be conscious about what you're using for your vagina care. That's the foundation of it. That's the foundation of good vaginal care. Well, you know what? Pause. I take that back. The most important thing for good vaginal hygiene is your diet.
Oh, I was going to get into that too.
Let me start there.
You're doing well.
Pause. Let me start there. Let me start there. Because you can use great products, but if you're eating trash, then your vagina hygiene is going to be trash.
I tell people all the time, clients, it's not what you put on your body that keeps you from smelling. It's what you put in your body that keeps you from smelling. And the one thing that we most need in our bodies is something called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green inside of any green leafy vegetable. And chlorophyll is a natural deodorizer. Okay, so you can put deodorant up under your arms, or you can eat more chlorophyll. Okay, you can use a lot of perfume products for your vagina, or you can eat more chlorophyll. Now, I'm not saying that eating chlorophyll totally replaces any topical that you can put on, but you can put on a lot less if you eat a lot more chlorophyll.
And for me, honestly, I have, and I don't know if it was maybe because it was more concentrated, but I do have to take chlorophyll in micro dosages, like very small dosages.
Oh, okay.
Like I have a little
Okay.
capsule because at one time I was taking chlorophyll, but I was taking it subliminal, like sublingual, up under your tongue, and I found that I was kind of getting sick.
What was going on?
I found that I was very nauseous. I think I was telling you.
Okay.
I was very nauseous. And I didn't, and that's because I felt like I was maybe taking too much of it. So now I actually have these little tablets that it tell you can take like 3 a day, but I take 1.
Yeah, well, everybody's a little different.
And I find that I feel like it's working. I feel like it's working.
Yeah, with chlorophyll, I mean, everything that's good is not good for everybody, so you got to find your dosage.
You do have to find your dosage.
So it sounds like to me you were having a cleansing impact. So the nausea was actually a good thing, but nobody wants to feel that way, so they kind of back off of it. So yes, a high chlorophyll diet is going to help in the pungent aromas that may come out of from under your arms, your breath, anal canal, your feet, your vagina. More green and less junk, less sugar, less meat even.
Yeah, that's definitely the foundation for good vaginal care is your diet, and then making sure that you are using the right products.
I'll give you another one that's very, very important too, just going along with diet, is meat. Not necessarily meat itself, but the source of meat that you're eating from. Keep in mind that parasites sometimes are a part of eating meat. It's a part of eating vegetables too, but more a part of eating meat. And when you eat parasites, you have to understand the parasite is going to live inside of you. They're going to lay eggs, all right? Those eggs are going to hatch, and then you're going to have a new generation of life, and they all shit inside of you. Now, I don't know any excrement yet that doesn't smell. So when you have a whole host of parasites who are defecating on the inside of you, that probably doesn't smell very a good scent to that.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you're cutting down on the meat, and especially.
And I have a no meat Monday. Well, I never ate pork. Well, pause. I used to eat pork. I haven't had pork in over 20 years, but. Yes, so on Monday, I have a no meat Monday. This is where I don't consume meat at all. I allow my body to completely detox of meat.
Good.
Yeah, because that does have a significant bearing on your vagina.
And then when you talk about pork, you're talking about that trick worm. The trick worm doesn't die. You can't bake it, boil it, broil it, or barbecue it out. It's going to be alive the whole time. So when those, as I said before, when those parasites start to lay eggs and everybody in there starts to defecate on the inside of you, that is not an atmosphere for a rosy smelling vagina or anything else. So keep that in mind too. Cut down on the meat consumption. And also, it's best that you wear natural fibers when it relates to
cotton. Cotton is a very breathable fabric. But this is what I also want to say in reference to that too. Wear a panty liners. I was trying to find a nice way to say it. But to just wear panty liners, that is a big part of having good vaginal hygiene too. Because your body, especially for us females, we're going to discharge. Whether it's a little bit, whether it's a lot. Your discharge is your body talking to you.
So that's healthy.
Okay. So, yeah, it could be. It depends on, like, your discharge will tell you if you're ovulating. Your discharge will tell you if she's okay, if she's healthy. Your discharge will tell you if she's not okay, if she has an infection. So your discharge is just your body communicating with you. And so most women will discharge even a little bit and even if they do not discharge, because some will argue with me about that, But even if you're not discharging, when you go to use the bathroom, even if you do wipe, you're still trickling. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to have this moist area sitting on your vagina. So when you wear panty liners, it allows you to remove this moist area, whether it's from, not properly, even if it's from wiping yourself, even if it's from properly wiping yourself. Some people experience, slight incontinence, as we was talking about earlier, when they leave, when they slap. Yes, so even to wear slight, it is just good vaginal hygiene to be able to have a panty liner, and like I was saying, to be able to remove the panty liner and be able to put a fresh and clean one on. And again, organic panty liners, not tampons, I'm sorry, organic panty liners is what I advocate for. And that way you always have a fresh, dry, breathable environment for your vagina. That's significant.
That's very, very noteworthy. And there are 4 natural fabrics: silk, cotton, wool, and linen. Now, we know you shouldn't be wearing wool or linen underwear. It probably don't exist anyway. But silk and cotton, you wear these 4 materials because they breathe, okay? Anything that's natural, you're going to have some breathability, okay? And it's going to cause the vagina to be less moist and have a more of an airflow. So let me ask you this. Yes. We talked about wiping. There is a correct way for a woman to wipe. Am I correct?
It is. And that is from front to back.
Explain why.
Because there's always going to be feces in the anal tract. Always, always, always.
Even in minute forms.
Yes, even in very minute micro forms. So when you wipe from back to front, especially after having a bowel movement, you're going to bring the feces into the vagina, and you're going to give yourself a yeast infection.
Or chlamydia.
Or you're going to hurt the vagina in all sorts of ways. If you bring the feces into the vagina, the correct way to wipe. The correct way to wipe is from front to back, ladies.
All the time.
Hold on. This is the toilet.
You're not going to demonstrate it.
Fuck yeah. This is the toilet.
Oh my God.
We're going to wipe from front to back. Front to back.
I guarantee this has never been done on a podcast before.
Ladies, this is the wrong way.
Oh, definitely.
Ladies, this is the wrong way.
Front to back.
Front to back. Front to back is the correct way to make sure that you have proper vaginal hygiene.
There's some women who don't know that.
Huh?
Do you know there's some women who don't know that?
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, let me ask you this question: How is it that something that you are doing 2-3 times a day, a woman, a young girl doesn't know that? How does that work?
Well,
I mean, don't your mother or somebody tell you?
And that's the thing about it. Just as many people lack financial literacy, people lack hygiene literacy too. Yeah, it's there is a big there has been, I would agree that there has been a significant disconnect with proper feminine care.
Also, you spoke earlier about no tampons, and that's very, very important, because that's going to continue to have moisture there with all of the old blood and whatnot, and all of that.
Someone said Faithful Fertility said didn't know I got a UTI on my honeymoon weekend. Mom never told me. Yeah, so see, we have someone who just witnessed that.
That's amazing.
Mom never told her on her honeymoon. I forgot about UTIs. Thank you, Queen.
Yeah, urinary tract
You're
infections.
Absolutely right. UTIs is very can also be a side effect of wiping the wrong way. Thank you. That was Faithfully Fertility. Thank you, Queen.
Very, very interesting. Wow. Okay. So you're not to use tampons. You're supposed to, if you're going to use any, use napkins, organic napkins if that's available to you. And again, that'll be available to you on July 25th at the Verona Library with Dr. Finney and us.
Yes.
But also, there's something called symbiosis. And symbiosis is the balance of bacteria, flora, microcosms, and yeast, because the vagina contains all of those, but they have to be in a balance. They have to be in a balance. So to keep your vagina balanced, you have to have an internal hygiene and an external hygiene. Right now, we're talking more about the internal hygiene, which is your diet, things you should and should not be consuming. But I'm going to tell you the biggest thing that you can do for hygiene internally is drink water.
Yes.
You have to drink water every single solitary
A significant amount of it, because here's the thing.
day.
I asked almost every client, if not every client that comes through here, Queen, how's your water consumption? Especially if they tell me they're prone to yeast infections. How's your water consumption? Oh, and here's the kicker. Oh, I drink water. Oh, okay. How much water you had today?
A day.
And I drink water. Their reasoning of drinking water is 1 to 2 bottles a day. Yet they their body weight is 196, or their body weight is 200, or even 150, or even with 150 you still require more than 1 bottle of water, more than 2 bottles of water. Water. And let me, not to cut you off, part yourself, but the reason why I was going to say that is because, and you're absolutely right, is because, for one, the kidneys is responsible for removing toxins out of your body, but it's doing that through your vagina. So when you drink or when you consume a lot of water and you're peeing nothing but water, you are supporting your vaginal hygiene.
And the kidneys are a part of the whole sex system.
Yes.
So let's keep that in mind. The kidneys are a part of the vagina and all of that. So you're absolutely right. Drinking your body weight divided by 2 ounces.
Absolutely.
It used to be back in the day, they say, drink 64 ounces. That's 8 glasses of 8
Not
ounces.
Everybody needs that much water.
And some people need more. And somebody like Shaquille O'Neal, who's 7 foot and 350, divide 350 by 2, and that's the minimum he would need.
Water is so significant for healthy vaginal care. That's the number one thing that I always stress.
And when you're dehydrated, and many people in this country are, when you have a dry mouth, that kind of contributes to a dry vagina. Why? Because the body is actually 2 halves. The body is 2 halves, right? The fingers represent the toes, the foot, the hand. The wrist is represented by the ankle, so forth and so on. So the vagina is represented by the mouth. So a lot of times when you are dehydrated, you're going to have a dry vagina.
That's why they call it the other lips.
Absolutely. So drinking the recommended amount of water and the right kind of water, because I hope and pray
that's significant
that you're not drinking faucet water, public water. I know you're saying, well, what other water is there to drink? No. You do not want to participate in any form of public water. Now, if you're flushing the toilet, that's one thing. It's not touching you. But if you're showering, if you're bathing, if you're cooking with water, it should not be faucet water. Why? Because there's so many poisons and toxins that are in water, whether they've been purposely put in or however they got in. There are literally hundreds of different toxins and poisons in public water, okay? So you definitely want to invest in some type of water treatment system, at least for your kitchen sink and to put on your shower and
Do
your
you think
bathwater.
bread is all bullshit?
Yes. Because a good, I should have said that on, that system of treating water is no system at all, because you have to consider, to get a real decent treatment on your water, it's going to cost you a couple of $100 minimally. I have a shower head, it was $200, and that's to take as much of the toxins out as possible.
I like those things. They have them at Walmart too, where it kind of it streams, it cleans your water as it streams.
And I also have one I set on my kitchen sink, so I can take faucet water, run it through that, and it'll give me treated water. That was like $500. So you're gonna, and now those are minimal prices. So you're gonna have to spend a little bit so you can get yourself some clean water. So it's not just drinking the proper amount of water, but it's also drinking the right kind of water. And for us, the best kind of water for us to drink is spring water, because spring water is naturally alkaline. It's naturally alkaline.
I love some spring water.
And I want to go back to, you were talking about soap, that Dove, and some people use Ivory and whatnot. You know that naturally soap is an alkalinizer. That's why when we put it in our clothing, all we're doing is adding alkalinizing agents to our clothing, and that gets the dirt out, all right? So when you add alkaline to the vagina, which is naturally acidic, you're going to have some problems, okay? This is when the pH balance changes. The natural pH balance for the vagina is between 3.8 and 4.5. If it goes below or above that, your vagina is going to talk to you. It's going to itch. It's going to smell. It's going to smell and itch. It might get inflammation, and a whole lot of other things can also happen. So you have to consider, you may not want to use soap at all. And I know when you say that to Blau, I thought you used some soap. Not necessarily. The best thing really to use is just warm water.
Yeah, well, I advocate for at least raw soap.
What is raw soap?
Like black soap, stuff that comes naturally from the earth.
Stuff
that has no fillers, has nothing in it. It's just made of what was, taken from the earth.
If your personal chemistry can take that, that's fine. But I find that a lot of lighter complexioned people, black soap doesn't work for them. And black soap seems to work more for darker people. I use it religiously, but I found that in past experiences. But consider that because that pH balance is an issue, the vagina itself is actually self-cleansing.
What she said, who is gentleman queen? Who is this gentleman right here, queen? Is that what you're asking? Honey Pot Products. I just recently heard about Honey Pot Products being not what they say they are.
What is it?
Due to scientific testing. It's a soap. It's supposed to be an organic soap.
Honey Pot.
She said yes. All right. So this gentleman right here, introduce yourself again, because they may have came on after we introduced.
Hey, listen, you got to come on time. All right. Listen, my name is Kai Harurama, DHS. And I'm the founder of the Holistic Health Awareness Team, which is a group of naturopathic doctors and holistic physicians who specialize in a variety of holistic services, products, and modalities, most of which are energy therapies. My area of focus and concentration is in something called meridian therapy tapology, which can best be described as acupuncture without
That's
needles.
His intro.
And
so what exactly do you do in its most lamest terms?
Well, there's a lot that I do, but I concentrate most on something called meridian therapy tapology. I deal with disease and illness from its root cause. I don't deal with it from the symptomatic aspect like the medical doctor does. I don't prescribe pills. I can't prescribe anything. I don't get into the whole drug scene, okay? 80 to 90% of all disease is emotionally based. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she. And we are a combination of what we eat, drink, think, and experience. Mostly of what we think, and that's in our subconscious mind.
So can I say that you move energy throughout the body?
Absolutely. We help to rid the body of negative energy and low vibration
That's the layman's terms, because I know you guys would not really some of y'all was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Because it took me a while to be like, what the fuck is he talking about? So in its lamest terms, he is a practitioner for being able to heal the body and move energy throughout the body.
Well, let's say this. I help you heal your body, because to say you can heal in this country is actually against the law, and that's good jurisprudence. So I'm not a healer. I can help you heal yourself. Okay? We actually can deal with the low vibration energies that are the cause of the physical manifestation of all your diseases, whether it's sugar diabetes, hypertension, asthma, so forth and so on. Okay? So with that being said, where was I before she came in talking about she late? But also for the symbiosis to take place, we have to not only just wear the right material, drink the right amount of water, have the right diet, but getting back to washing the vagina without soap. The vagina itself is self-cleansing. The inside is self-cleansing. It's the outside that needs some assistance. And so you can take warm water only and make sure you cover the 3 areas of the clit hood, and the lips, internal and external part of the superficial part of the lips. And if as long as you can keep that clean and clear, you don't necessarily have to use soap. I know we've been taught that, soap cleans. Okay. In some ways, yes. But water is what cleans. Drinking most of it and then putting some on the vagina, getting those nooks and crannies, because the vagina and the clit hood has nooks and crannies. The thing is, make sure you get those nooks and crannies so we're not spitting out, tissue and sesame seeds and everything when we go down, okay? Make sure you clean, and even if you're like a full-figured woman, you have to clean your nooks and crannies. Sometimes you have crevices. No, really.
You sound like you traumatized.
You get a bad one, you'll never forget. I'm just saying, you have to clean the crevices wherever they are. Like here, the fold here, behind your knee, under your arm, between your anal canal, and, between your man's legs, between the testicle sac and the thigh. Get those nooks and crannies, please. Okay? And if you do that with just warm water, you don't necessarily have to use a soap that's going to change your pH balance. Why are you laughing at me? Why is that funny? Why is that funny? I am so serious. That doesn't make sense.
Because you sound like you're speaking from a place of experience.
And keep in mind this too.
Sound like you're still mad about it.
I am. You have to consider this. What you can't pronounce, don't put it on your skin. Don't put it in your body. Okay.
This live right here with lost connection. I don't know.
Oh no. Well, all those long words that you see on the ingredients of your soaps and of your lotions and all that kind of stuff. If you can't pronounce it, don't put it on. You can pronounce water. Okay. But anything other than these 2 and 3 syllable words, don't put that stuff on your body. And for God's sake, don't put it inside of your body. Okay. Because that's a very, very delicate area I think the vagina is probably the most delicate area on the body.
It is,
and
very much so.
I don't even know if a man has an area that matches the delicacy of the vagina. I guess you could say the opening of the penis, but that's not as open and accessible as the vagina. Are we back on?
I don't know what it's doing. I keep saying checking connection.
So also consider this as a form of hygiene. If you are allowing a man to release on the inside of you,
to nut in you,
absolutely, that can cause for some issue as well.
Oh yeah,
okay?
Most definitely,
because
especially if his diet is trash.
If his diet is bad, okay, or if your chemistries just don't mix, you can't just leave that in there. Okay, you got to in some way have a way of being able to get the majority of that, if not all of that out. Is that called douching?
Mm-hmm. No, we
called?
Do not recommend douching.
And why is that?
Or advocating for douching because...
Can you do water douche?
No, because what happens is this. When you insert the douche nozzle, is like this, and it has holes at the top of it, right? Mm-hmm. But when you insert the nozzle into the vagina, the nozzle is actually squirting water into the vagina, which if you have an infection, if you have something else going on, you are actually pushing it further into the uterus.
Okay.
You're pushing it further into the urethra. So you really don't want to squirt anything into the vagina canal because, again, you don't want to be pushing nothing into the womb.
Okay, but the grocery store...
we don't advocate for douching.
The grocery store has all of these items that are douche-worthy items. You're saying don't use them.
I'm saying don't. Okay. Exactly. Don't do them. Don't
sure.
douche. Do not insert anything into your vagina.
So how would you suggest a woman releases a man's release on the inside of her? Just let it naturally fall out?
You can have a steam session with me. I'm located at 2704 in the Preston.
So will that fall into like your... That'll fall into you.
It'll clean you out. It'll definitely support you in having a good steam clean, opening up the vessels and allowing any toxins or pores to come, to come out and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
So besides the Yoni steam, is there anything else you suggest for a woman who's very active? She's 2-3 times a week letting somebody squirt on their way. Could even be,
I mean, even a bath. once a week. It's not a long bath. I don't recommend submerging the
Why?
vagina in
Why?
longer than 30 minutes because you don't want the vagina to be submerged in water. Especially a lot of people will put like Epsom salt in their bath
That changes the
water.
pH balance.
Yeah, they'll put like
soap,
body or bubble bath
Bubble
and things
bath.
like that in their water. So just to be submerged in the vagina longer than 30 minutes can definitely throw your pH off, and especially if your water is not like regular
pH
water.
balance is very,
So,
very, very important. Remember,
it's very sensitive.
it's between 3.8 and 4.5, and that's acidic because anything below 7 on the pH balance scale is considered acidic. So you want to keep it there. All right. And anything that you do, whether it's what you eat, what you smoke, what you drink, and what you put on like soap, it can change it just like that. And when it changes, you'll know because you'll itch, you'll smell, combination of the two, inflammation, and all of the rest of that. So it's very, very important that you have proper hygiene, external hygiene, as well as internal hygiene. Okay. And I think an add-on to that is mental. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit about this next subject matter.
A good vaginal hygiene is also like you said, your partner. Just your partner, period. You're just having.
It's also mental in that you need to be able to have a positive outlook for the most of your day or most of your time because negative energy can impact the pH balance in your vagina. With that being said, ask your question. What do you think about possessiveness and or jealousy and how it relates to the vagina and or good vaginal hygiene? Or is that a question to ask?
Well, yeah, I can say that's a little fruit fly in here.
Okay. Why you gotta
He like the way
all
you
this
smell.
all this room. So what do you think about the low vibration of jealousy?
I think that's exactly what it is. When it comes to saying that someone has a certain energy towards the vagina, whether it's like jealousy, possessiveness, envy, or anything of that nature, because I just feel like it's definitely the energy because the vagina is so powerful.
Well, let me say this.
People fail to realize the vagina is so powerful.
I'm talking about from two different aspects. I'm talking about the woman being possessive and or jealous, and then the man being possessive and or jealous.
Why is this fruit fly bullying us?
You know what?
Did you get it?
So we're looking at two different aspects. We're looking at from my perspective and from your perspective. So let's look at jealousy and possessiveness from my perspective because it's been it's been shown that some women love a possessive man. They love their man to be in these jealous rages, and it turns them on.
And I know women
sexually.
who do shit to get their man jealous purposely, but that's a dangerous game to play. Unless unless you know the limitations of it. But I feel like it's a dangerous game.
So from that perspective, let's say you're one of those women who love to feel possessed and or make their man jealous. And that turns you on, then it's not a negative for your vagina then, correct?
No, it's not a negative for your vagina. If you're getting what you want.
So now let's change the script. You're feeling jealous, okay? Or in some way you're feeling insecure and now starting to be possessive toward him. How does that impact the vagina?
Well, I can say this. I don't feel like, and I've been married for quite a long time, but I feel like, and even my husband, not in these words verbatim, but I feel like my husband didn't even really become like rah over me until I gave him the pussy. Like I felt like he didn't really like. It was always
What is rah?
Like
explain rah.
Rah.
Explain that.
It's like he really became. I wouldn't say my husband was never. He's not like a jealous man, but he is very possessive. Like this is.
You like
know what I mean?
that.
This is mine.
You like that.
It's not that I don't.
You like that. I can tell by the way you're talking. You like that.
No.
Does that look like a face that said no?
Let me tell you. Because it's a gift and a curse. at some point, especially for us female, it's a sense that your man loves you, right? But then it can also be a curse because some men use it or some females reciprocate it or even use it in a negative aspect. So for me, yes, of course I like to know that my husband loved me. He's not going to like tie me in no basement and not let me go nowhere, possessiveness, not like that. But I definitely feel like the energy of our relationship shifted after we had intercourse. I definitely feel like he got a little bit more possessive. I didn't want to use the word possessive because I felt like that's it's a lot for him. He's not possessive, but he is very protective.
Well, I mean, there are some times when some women can cause some men to feel possessive even when they're not like that naturally. When they're not like that naturally, sometimes, like you say...
Have you ever felt possessive of someone?
Not really. I can be that way. It's sort of like kind of a role play for me. I can do like a little mental role play and be that way, but most of the time it's not. Because I can't be into someone who ain't into me. So if you're not showing you're possessive with me, I mean, it's hard to do. But no, not really. But I do know this. There are some women that have this, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it.
Have you ever had a woman be possessive over you?
Absolutely.
What does that look like for you?
Oh my God.
She popping up at your house unexpected?
She has.
Like, what does that look like?
That has happened, but it's very, very unattractive. And here's the deal.
It is. I agree.
No. It depends on the woman because if it's a little...
No, I agree.
If it's a little small, and then this is just, I'm going to let you into my world. I'm not saying this is good or bad, right or wrong. I'm just going to let you into my world. If it is a small, petite little kitten and they're possessive and all in my face, it's cute. It's like a little baby to come and hit you real hard. Oh, that's so sweet. But if it's some like nice sized woman and she like, demanding and commanding me, I feel claustrophobic. Don't do that. So it all depends on the individual, but possessiveness, I don't like it. I don't like it. But I will say this.
I don't either. I like protectiveness, not possessiveness.
See, I don't even consider possessiveness a negative. I don't consider it. I say it's indifferent. Jealousy is a negative emotion. Envy is a negative emotion. So whenever you have negative emotion that's taken into your auric field and it lands somewhere in one of your organs, and it's going to cause your overall consciousness to drop because it's a low vibration energy. That low vibration energy can actually cause a drop in your pH balance. Isn't that interesting? So that if you're feeling insecure as a woman, if you're feeling jealous as a woman, if you're feeling envious as a woman, your pH balance can change. It has nothing to do with your diet. You can drink all the water you want. You can have all the cotton and silk underwear that you have. But if you have that low vibration energy that you're not releasing, which is where I would come into play, I can help you to release that negative energy with Meridian Therapy Tapology. If you don't release that and you allow that to fester, okay, not only can that matriculate into some type of physical ailment or a physical manifestation of disease, it can turn into something serious.
And that's what I tell my clients all the time. Like my clients who will come and they'll say, oh, well, I have endometriosis, but my mom had it. Or, I have PCOS, but, my grandmother had it. No, that stuff is not hereditary.
No.
Your parents, your mom did not give that to you. And so, I always strive to tell my clients and to educate them on the same thing. Like, what's going on in your life that you keep having? Because they'll come and say, I keep having these yeast infections. So I keep having these BV. I keep going to my doctor and they keep giving me boric acid pills, or they keep giving me this and they keep giving me that. And so, it's very important that I tell my clients that, well, what kind of stress are you? What's going on? Because
there we go.
What you have going on your daily basis have a significant bearing on your vagina. And stress
there you go.
can build fibroids in the uterus.
Now you're going to where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
This jealousy, this envy,
all of that builds. It does. It has a significant bearing on the womb. And people will be like, well, how so? okay, you don't think that because you don't see it that it doesn't have a significant bearing on the
What you
wound.
don't
Yes,
see rules what
that's
you
just
see.
like, I always use this example. That's just like when somebody says something to you to hurt your feelings, right? They're only words. You cannot see words. Yet, when they hit, them bitches that made you cry. Okay, you cry. Your feelings is hurt. Okay, so even though those words were not something that you can see, they still had a physical impact on the body. That works the same way with fibroids and cysts and things of that nature. Okay, works the same way. Those energy, that stress, those words, the things you do on a daily basis that you cannot see, has that same bearing on the uterus.
We talked about the internal aspects of hygiene. We talked about the external
So, girl,
aspects.
if you gotta get jealous, girl, not to cut him off, don't worry about him. But if you got to get jealous, girl, walk away. If you feel in any facet that you jealous, that you getting possessive, you getting envious, walk away. Walk away.
That could be one aspect of it. But not only is there an internal hygiene and an external hygiene, but there's also a mental hygiene. And anything that's going to stress you out, anything, place, or person that's going to stress you out, that's a part of your hygiene. You keep those people, those things, those places around you, and it causes your pH balance to drop, and now you've got all kind of yeast infections and UTIs and bladder infections. Did you know that a great amount of bladder infections are caused by being pissed off too long for a woman? Yeah, because the main consciousness of the bladder is pistivity. Yeah, and when you stay pissed off so long you don't release that, that can cause a problem in your bladder that can set up a bladder infection, which can then set up a urinary tract infection. So again, keep in mind.
You know what? I'm not stressing over shit. Okay,
good for you.
I find that
good for
has
you.
a significant
That's
bearing.
hygiene.
And I'm not saying that I don't stress, because I sometimes I sit in a place, but for me, I strive not to stress. So when I do stress, it's like the world just came down. It's like a heavy ass laundry bag. It's like I stress all at one time. But I strive not to do it on a daily basis so that it does not have a bearing on my lifestyle or my sex as well. You know? Well, I was about to say sex lifestyle, but a sex lifestyle, like
so we've learned something today that you probably would not have gotten from the allopathic doctor. You couldn't have, because they're basically going to say, okay, diet and keep yourself washed with some soap, blah blah blah. But there is a mental and emotional hygiene that we also must embrace, because if you're stressed out, which can your blood changes when you get stressed out. Your veins, arteries, capillaries, arterioles, and vessels, they contract when you get stressed out. Okay, so it's not just the pH balance that changes. Everything tightens up. So that means circulation, flow is not there. Okay, so part of hygiene is mental and emotional. Keep those stressors, those people, places, and things that would cause you to be stressed out, pissed off, mad, upset, angry. Keep them away from you, or as far away from you as you can for as long as you can, so that you can not only have proper hygiene, vaginal hygiene, but just overall wellness and health. Okay, and then lastly, if we have enough time to get into it, I think we have 12 minutes, and we probably should have saved this for another time. But here's the last topic for the day: is how soon is too soon for a female to begin participating in sexual interaction? How soon is too soon? I'll let you go first.
An hour?
I'm talking about age. Stop playing.
I definitely I lost my virginity at the age 13, and I definitely feel like that is too young.
Why?
At the age 13, now that I'm older, I can honestly say that I did not have good knowledge of my body at 13.
Did that matter if it's what you were doing felt good?
Yeah, because I wasn't doing it for the feeling at age 13. I was doing it to participate in the activity.
Okay.
I was very young, and at a young age, you don't really know the significance of sex. People at a young age, you kind of don't even know, as again, the significance. People don't know that the purpose of most sexual activity is to procreate.
Is there a purpose? Because for some people there is no purpose. You just do it because it's to be done.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The purpose of it in general is to procreate. That's how we procreate, right? Is by having sex. But when you're younger, you just have sex. That your intentions is not to procreate when you're younger. So you're just kind of indulging in the activity. And you don't know, especially when you lose your virginity, you don't know what it's supposed to feel like, and at a very young age, it is uncomfortable for us females. Well, some of us, it may hurt to some of us. It may just feel uncomfortable. So I feel like even at the age 13, I still feel like the body has, and there are some 13 years old built like fucking 33-year-olds.
Absolutely.
But I just feel like at the age 13, no matter what the fuck she built like, I just feel like she's not ready for sex. Mentally and physically, she's not ready for sex.
So I take it, you were 13, I take it you weren't the only one of your friends that were participating.
No.
So that was
definitely wasn't.
Okay. So 13, 14 was like in your neighborhood or in your community probably commonplace?
Teenage girls. I mean, just teenage girls. I wouldn't give it a specific age, but girls that were in my generation, I would say that. Well, not even in my generation, because I don't know about 11 to 12 years olds, but I know for the, me being 13, 14, 15, yeah, I would say that.
So you said 13 was premature.
I do.
Do you say it's an age, or do you say it's a maturity, or is it an individual thing?
I believe definitely age has a bearing on it.
And the reason why is because our great-grandmothers, a lot of our great-grandmothers were 13 and their husbands were 30.
I know.
And they took on husband, children, cleaning the house, running the finances, at 13.
But that's not the DNA of a lot of the younger girls now.
Okay, it's not the DNA, so that makes it what? Wrong? Makes it out of style? What does that mean?
I feel like back in the days when that was the issue, I feel like there were a lot less influential things that played a bearing on the mindset. So they didn't have social media, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have these things. So you were basically doing what you were taught to do. Now people do what they're told to do. So they're really not built like they used to back in the day. And it's still, I feel like, even still back in the day, I still feel like the age 13, even if she was married to a 30-year-old, I still feel like no matter in what generation, what year it is, 1954 or 2024, I feel like 13 is still a very young age for a girl to be indulgent in sexual activity.
Okay. Because the way the state looks at it, every state or every country within this continent has their own, as we discussed before, statutory law. Some women, it's 15, for some it's 16. I think maybe some places it might even be 13 or 14. Be that as it may, I think that maturity, mental and emotional maturity, has a lot to do with when they should start doing that, because if they don't have the mental and emotional maturity, and sometimes that doesn't come at 18 or 19.
It doesn't.
So again,
29.
Is it an age, or is it a mindset? Is it a maturity? Is it, what exactly is it? So I guess this is one of these questions that really is going to be, relative to who you are, what period you grew up in, how mature you are as a person. But there are a lot of, not even when you were coming up, there are a lot of 13, 14-year-old girls right now are finding their way into clubs with fake ID, their older sister's ID, and all that kind of stuff. And they're handling their business.
I was in the club at 15 with a fake ID.
See what I'm saying? Handling their business as grown women. So I guess that's a question that really can't be answered. I know as a parent, if I had a daughter, I would rather all of that came up in the later teens.
No, I feel like that is a question that can be answered.
Yeah, I would rather my daughter
13
be
is too young.
involved
We just answered the
in
question.
the later teens, 18, 19 years old. And even then, I would hope she'd be a tomboy until she was 20 to try to go get her through those really scary years. But,
And another reason why I say that too is because most young girls are just getting their periods around that time. Whether it's 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old. And the body does go through significant changes once, a woman or a girl, a young girl, well, once she starts getting it as a girl, once a young girl gets her period. And at 13, to be just getting your period, I feel like you still have a lot of learning about your body to do. So I feel like 13 is definitely too young to be indulging in sex. And that's from someone speaking from experience.
And you have a daughter.
I do have a daughter.
So you have a vested interest in this question because at some point in time, you're going to have to say, this is where I'm going to stand. Now, if you leave this house, you can do something else.
My daughter is 10. My daughter is 10 years old, and she is very awake and aware of what's going on. My daughter, when she talks to me or when I talk to her, and if I happen to use the word vagina, she knows what that is. She
knows what you do around here.
She knows what I do. She helps me out around here. So she knows what I do at Yoni Steam and Wellness. She knows that my job is to care for the female vagina.
So she knows that.
So she's very she's very familiar with that. It's been times when I've been sitting on the toilet and I'll say, like, now she's familiar with it, but when she wasn't familiar with it, I may have said, "Baby, can you pass me a pad?" And the first time she's seen it, she's like, "Mommy, why are you bleeding?" And then I have to talk to her and make sure she knows the truth. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, mommy cut herself," or "Don't worry about it, baby." No.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I always speak to her. I always tell her about it. She'll be like, "Mommy, am I gonna be bleeding too?" At some point, you will. At some point, you will. When you do, this is the steps that you take to carry out once you get there. But my daughter is very familiar with. She is. I would not say she is. She has enough knowledge to indulge in sex. She does not. But when it comes to female hygiene and her being conscious of her body and what she has,
and you've already begun to teach her that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's going to start at 8, 9, 10 years old. And it's a good thing that you're passing that down because it's really the only way it's going to get down to these the younger ladies in this generation. If we don't teach them, if somebody doesn't teach them the right way, they will not know the right way. So that's a question for the ages. And at this time, we've got about
2 minutes.
2 minutes. We definitely want to remind you that we're going to be at the Varina Library on July 25th, Saturday.
A free informational session. You do not want to miss out on this free informational session.
Absolutely.
There's going to be so much information there when it comes to vaginal care, vaginal hygiene, energy, mental self-care. We're going to have so much information there for you guys. We do not want you to miss out on it.
It's going to start at 11 o'clock. Because it is free,
library.
Do not come alone. Put some butts in your car seats, okay? Tell them it's going to be a free Birkin bag giveaway, whatever you have to do to get them there.
Don't lie to them because we're not going to have no Birkin for them when they get
We're
there.
not going to have any Birkin. I'm just saying get them there with that because this information, as maybe some of the information that you've heard today.
Or you can get them there by telling them we're going to give them free vaginal information.
Well, that should get the guys there. So, and this is not just for women. This is for everybody. Men and women, because what's important for a woman in a vagina should be important for a man in his penis. That's just the way it goes. So, without any further ado, we are going to break down this edition of the Pussy Power Hour. Hope to see you next week with some more exciting topics about the vagina and how it relates to you. And as always, bless your hearts and all your parts.
Peace.